This is the future.
What's up, YouTube and Facebook, and welcome back to Not Quite Mint. Today we're going to do our review show. So I'm going to review the top 5 comics, in my opinion, that came out on the 22nd of July 2020. I'm also going to be reviewing some of my older reads, and I'm going to talk about my re-education in the Marvel epic events. I'm looking at House of M today. So yeah, so let's go into it, shall we? There's no one here to say, yeah, let's get into it, because Rich is not with me today. He's still prancing about on holiday. So yeah, I'm on my own. So apologies for any cutouts or any sound quality problems. It's not the best setup here. So yeah, right. Shall we get into it? So anyway, welcome back to everybody that's a subscriber and comes back all the time. Your support it means a hell of a lot to us. It's nice to know that we have support on the channel. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and hit the dingly bell so you don't miss any of our content. Leave us a like and or give us a comment and let us know what you've been reading and what you've been really enjoying reading recently, and give us a little bit of what your review would be and what your top 5 would be from this week's comics. But yes, please hit subscribe. It means a hell of a lot to us if you subscribe to the channel and join the Not Quite Mint family. I mean, why would you not want to? It's great. Anyway, let's get into it. So right, first up, I'm going to be talking about Bliss, which is a Image comic that came out this week. I read mine online rather than picking up a copy this time round. It's written by Sean Lewis. The artwork is by Caitlin Yarksey. It was sold as a key to basically, it was the Key Collectible said that this is going to be a Breaking Bad meets the American Gods, and this guy is some kind of drug dealer for these gods that are knocking about. I didn't quite get that feel from this comic. You can see what they were trying to do with it, and it is a good read, and it's different, which is nice. I mean, it's nice to pick up something different. And try something that's not your normal Marvel or DC. So it was nice to pick this up. I didn't particularly love it. I will definitely read issue 2 to see where it goes. But essentially, in this issue, you're getting this perspective from the main character's son. Is telling you the story of his father, and it starts off in a courtroom. They're talking about the fact that his father is going to be trying to think of the right words here without spoiling it too much. He is essentially on trial. So the son is kind of talking about his dad, why his dad did what he did. And then I liked that idea. And as the comic goes on and it grew, I lost a bit of interest, but then I picked it back up again, and then I lost a little bit of interest. And it didn't hook me in as some of the other comics that came out this week. So I did like it, and I would recommend, if you want something new, to try it. But as a single issue, it didn't grab me in, so I'm definitely going to read more for sure. But yeah, as a standalone issue, I was on the fence a little bit. But I would recommend picking it up as just a little bit of something new, something to try. So yeah, moving on. The next comic book that I'm going to talk about is the 2nd issue of Empyre, and Empyre is the current new Marvel epic event that sees the Skrull and Kree putting aside their differences and heading to Earth to essentially, what it looked like was to wipe us out. But no, they're coming to wipe out this plant life form that is on the moon. Now, the story takes a huge twist in issue 1, and it was such a good twist, and issue 1 was amazing, but I felt like issue 2 was a little bit of a filler. It kind of lost its momentum a little bit, and there was a bit of there's a lot of kind of backstory, if you like, on the I can't remember the name of the plant characters, but it's the Celestial Messiah. So there's a little bit of backstory about why he is what he's doing, why he's not a good guy, as it were. But it just lost me a little bit. I didn't get hooked in it. I wasn't like, yeah, this is great. But it is issue 2, and it is worth picking up, because you get to see Carol Danvers become the next Ronin, if you like. So she now becomes a Kree accuser. Very, very good. that little bit is amazing. I will obviously give it a few more issues. I mean, it's a 6-parter. It's got great artwork. There's a really good scene in it with Thor and his hammer, so it's worth reading it for that. And obviously it links into the next, 6 issues. However, on a side note, read the X-Men, Empyre Xmen. That one as a tie-in issue was fantastic and so much better than this issue. So worth reading the tie-in for the X-Men side of things. But again, not the best comic I've read this week. So yes, I would definitely recommend reading it if you're reading issue 1 and you want to complete the set, all 6 issues. But if you're not that bothered by the Marvel events, then I would just completely skip Empyre at the moment. It could hopefully get better, which we hope. I mean, there's going to be something going on in issue 4. I mean, there's the speculation of a possible death, so that could be quite interesting to finally get to and read, as it were. Anyway, moving on. I really enjoyed this issue. So my third pick for this week is Amazing Spider-Man Sin Rising. It was a bit of a kind of a curveball for me. It's a one-shot issue talking about the Sin Eater as a character. Now, I was right in what I said on Tuesday. Sin Eater isn't his first appearance in the Marvel Universe. He made his first appearance in October 1985, and it was in an Amazing Spider-Man comic. However, in this comic is the kind of creepier version of Sin Eater and how he became Sin Eater. So it's kind of like he saw this thing in the woods. It was essentially eating the sins off people. Like it was a human being basically eating food off people who had died, who had sinned. That's the basic story. So that's at the start of this comic. But I liked this one mainly because of the style that they told the story in. You're essentially watching a TV interview, like a celebrity interview, where the interviewer is interviewing Sin Eater and talking about his past and how he did what he did. And it is a really well written, very well drawn, different style to what I'm used to reading, and I enjoyed it. I definitely 100% would recommend going out and picking this one up. It threw me a little bit because I didn't expect to like it, but I did really like it. And it's written by Nick Spencer. He's done an amazing job of doing a little bit of a backstory on Sin Eater, why he is the way he is. It's nice the way he twists the characters, so it's like essentially he's 2 personas, which is great. I like that. Yeah, very good. Art by Guillermo Sanda. I hope I've said that right. But anyway, yeah, it was really good and definitely worth one of my 3 top spots. I would have put it higher, but I am humongously biased on my next 2, and I couldn't not put them as my top 2. So my next pick is, of course, the Power Rangers Ranger Slayer. I ended up being able to get the holo cover with the helmet. Thank you very much, Collectors Assembles, for sorting that out for me. Absolute legends. If you've never been to Banbury or Leamington, it's well worth going out there because the guys are amazing. They've got a great shop. They've got amazing back issues, and they're really friendly, and they're really well priced as well. So definitely worth going to see those guys. Anyway, I digress. So this one is written by Ryan Parrott. The artwork is by Dan Mora, who is an absolute hero of mine at the moment. I'm loving Dan Mora's work, and I'll talk about him a little bit more later. This one, for me, was probably my pick of the week, but I then reread what is my pick of the week, and I had to drop him down to the 2nd slot. Anyway, it's a very fun story. You're following Kimberly, who is the Pink Ranger. She's fallen from grace. She's been sent back to her original reality where Tommy has destroyed the whole universe and taken everything over. And but the Power Rangers have beaten him in our universe mixed with his universe. Our Power Rangers beat him, but he's no longer in his universe. So he's kind of left this void, and his generals are fighting over who's going to be the most powerful. They're still trying to take out the Coinless, which is Trini and Zach. Are still in it, but they don't have any powers. So they're essentially having this war. The Ranger Slayer turns up. She then has to end up fighting these kind of zombie type characters. She doesn't know where they've come from. She then goes to the Coinless and tries to like say, look, I want to redeem myself. They're like, no, we're not buying it. You're still a bad person. You cause so much damage. However, there's a little bit of a twist to who's creating these zombie characters. It turns out to be, if you've seen the front cover of the variant cover, which is Rita Repulsa, in more of a witch-like form. Like, she's a little bit more frightening than what you're used to from the TV show. Like, she's not a funny character in this. She's very much that kind of dark witch that just wants to take over the world and destroy everybody. So that's really cool. There's a cool twist in it to how she come back to this reality. Really good fun, epic fight scenes, great artwork. It's just a really fun comic to read, and it really does kind of bit of the cream on top of the cake, if you like, for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This was a brilliant one shot, well worth picking up. I would definitely recommend it. If you're a Power Ranger fan, that is. If you're not a Power Ranger fan, I don't think you'd enjoy it. But as a one shot on a you know, a different take on the Power Ranger universe, where they're not all like hiya and kicks and everything's fun and light, it's got a little bit more dark and a bit more gritty, then I would definitely recommend picking this one up. And it is only a one shot, so you don't have to necessarily have read anything else beforehand. It kind of gives you that. And also, if you go to the comic shops, they should be able to get you the free Comic Book Day version, which is the backstory to the Ranger Slayer. So you might as well get the free one and the one shot while you're at it, and then you've got the complete story. Go to Collectors Assemble, they will sort you out. Anyway, so yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I definitely would have put that at my top pick. However, Batman did come out this week, and it didn't disappoint. So we're talking Batman 95, the James Tynion run, George Gemens, I think that's how you say it. Anyway, as the artist, absolutely fantastic. Every single time this book comes out, it comes out twice a month. It just blows my mind. I don't understand how they can continue to kind of snowball this run. Is just amazing from start to finish. It has been incredible. This particular issue really does set up the Joker is just in it to cause so much chaos, and he does not care about anything. He's not got a master plan of like he wants to, you know, kill anyone in particular or take anyone down or anything. He's just doing it for the chaos and the fame and the fact that he just wants to prove the point that Batman, he's just going to destroy him, basically. It is great. Really enjoyed this one. You get a new reveal on Batman's new armor, which I'm pretty sure if you've been searching the internet, you will have seen the armor. It's a kind of blue effect kind of armor. You get a reveal of it in this book. I have a sneaking suspicion that there's a bit where he talks to Batman talks to what's his name? Something Fox. I can't remember his name. That's going to annoy me now. But he have a little conversation, and he says, I basically designed this because I found it in your archive, Bruce. And he's like, no, I never designed this. So I feel like this is a final suit that was designed by Alfred, and now Batman's going to be able to use it. However, he kind of gets sidetracked and a bit, hit in the back of the head. Yeah, so it is a really good comic. Well worth picking up this one. It really does solidify how much of a badass Punchline is going to be. Like, she's really making a mark in the universe. I would definitely say she's going to be huge. Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail about this one because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but it is very good. I very much enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Yeah, Lucius Fox. Thank you very much, Batter. Hold on, I can say Batrix Claire Battle. Sorry, I can't say the name very well. Not pretty good at reading. My bad. Yeah, so I was excited to see where this leads. Yes, very, very good comic. Don't want to, like I said, don't want to spoil anything, but I really enjoyed it. It is my top pick for the week. So if you are going to go to your local comic book shop, I would definitely recommend picking it up. Try and get the Matina cover because it's stunning. And it just really does show that he just wants to make the world burn, to be fair. But yes, very enjoyable comic. That is my kind of review for all the comics I enjoyed this week. So I'm just going to make it like a little couple of side notes, and then I'm going to talk about some of the books I have been reading. So I mentioned something. I was talking about Joker on Tuesday in the Spotlight, and I forgot to completely mention that the Joker doesn't fit in your standard bad guy archetype. What I mean by that is, when I was doing my artwork and stuff at uni and college and stuff, when you draw a bad guy, you tend to draw them with really like angular shapes, and you do them in more of a dark kind of style and dark colors and things. But the Joker completely breaks the mold, because he is essentially a clown. So he's wearing light purple, light green, white. So he doesn't actually fit in that normal mold, which is why he makes such an impact. And I suppose that's why you kind of resonate to him a little bit, because you kind of want him to be a bit of a good guy, to be fair. But then again, not, because he's a clown, the clown prince of crime. But I touch on that because in Empyre issue 1, you meet the Celestial Messiah, and he is your normal kind of, he's got the good guy colors, like he's reds, he's blues, he's green, he's kind of like that archetype that fits into the good guy box. But then he betrays the Avengers and he becomes a bad guy. However, he's all these bright colors and he's a plant man. You don't expect plants to be evil, but he is evil. And I liked that I like it when I do massively like it when they flip things like archetypes on their head, and they take like characters such as the Joker, who is in these kind of bright colors, and then the Celestial Messiah, who again is in bright colors and it isn't shaped too angularly, he's quite round, that they then give them those kind of quick angles right towards the end, or that sinister look, and then completely flip them on their head and they become quite evil looking, and then they have like the whole evil persona about them. I think that's really, really cool. Anyway, I'm gonna stop wibbling on about archetypes and stuff and then talk about my other reviews for the week. So whilst I was talking earlier about Dan Mora, who is the artist for Ranger Slayer, and I think he does quite a few of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He does a lot of covers, I know that, and he's done some stuff for Red Hood for DC. I read and have massively enjoyed Once and Future. I'm up to issue 9. I think it's on issue 9. It is incredible. The story, in a nutshell, there's a group of bad guys. They find this ancient artifact that they're going to use to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of bring back from the dead. They're going to bring back from the dead, basically King Arthur, or they want to bring back King Arthur from the dead. It then starts this chain reaction where retired monster hunter Bridget Marguerite ends up kind of coming back out of retirement, but then she drags her grandson into this, who has no idea what's going on. All he knows is his grandma is slightly batshit. She's not quite with it. So he's heard all these stories that she's told, and he thinks it's all fake. And then he gets thrown into this world of magic, myths, monsters, knights, undead, betrayal, and so much more happens in this book. Like throughout even in issue 1, pretty much all that happens in issue 1. And then you've got all these amazing issues that follow on from that. The Bridget, the grandmother, is a comical character, but she's also a little bit of a dark character. Like she's got this kind of dark persona to her. Like some of the things she comes out with, you think, oh god, that's dark. But anyway, so essentially, it's as if Buffy got kind of thrown into the Middle Ages. It's a little bit like that. So Duncan is having to step up to become this monster slayer with his grandma. He's having to kind of re-educate himself with all his myths to see whether or not they were, they were real or whether they were fake. And there's a lot of, to and from between him and his grandma, and the comedy between them is great. But the tension that you see when they get into like the fight scenes and like when they meet the undead and stuff is really, really great. I really like this book. I would recommend you get the first volume. Read them. They're brilliant. It's fresh. It's new. It's all based in England. There's, they're in Cornwall at one point. They're in Bristol in another point. They kind of touch on history in places, which is excellent. I just think it flows really well, and I just enjoyed it. And why would you not want to read something that's got myths, magic, monsters, the undead, and a batshit granny? I mean, it's great. It's totally worth reading. Yeah, so I would recommend it. Go out and get it. Read volume 1 for sure. The first 6 issues are incredible. So that now leads me on to my next big read that I've been reading over the last couple of weeks, and it's House of M. which is a Marvel epic event, and I'm trying to re-educate myself in rereading Marvel events whilst the Messiah, the Empyre is going on. So I decided a couple of weeks ago to read Avengers Disassembled. So this is essentially the next part onto that. So the Avengers have reformed because of the breakout situation at Rikers Island. They're now got this. They're now kind of sorted all that, and they're like, right, we have this problem. Wanda Maximoff is a problem. What are we going to do? So they come to this decision that they're going to go to Magneto on Genosha, and they're going to talk to him about what they're going to do with Wanda. But before they get there, the whole world reality just completely changes, and you end up in this new kind of place where mutants are accepted. The human race is kind of the lesser species. Mutants are dominant. Magneto basically owns the whole world. So it is a nice flip on its head. As the story progresses, Wolverine ends up remembering the past, and then he finds Luke Cage, who again is also remembering the past, but it's due to a mutant girl. So they kind of all get together. They try to round up all the Avengers, and at that point they round up Spider-Man, and it is probably one of the most heart-wrenching bits to read in this comic, in all fairness, because at this point in the House of M, Spider-Man's been given everything, if you like. Although he's not a mutant, he's still got Gwen Stacy. She's not died. He's kind of very popular. He's almost a millionaire kind of thing. And then they drop this bombshell on him that it's not real. It never was. And he's like, well, I'm married to Mary Jane, but now I'm, Gwen's still alive. It gets to the point where he's like, let's just kill Wanda Maximoff, which you don't expect from Spider-Man. But he's just so hurt by the fact that he's now got to go through the fact that he's got to put the whole universe back together and lose. Oh, also, Uncle Ben's still alive. So he's got to put the whole universe back together and lose Uncle Ben and Gwen Stacy all over again just to put the universe right, which is obviously the right thing to do. But for him, not so. It's a lot of weight on poor Spider-Man's shoulders. And I do feel sorry for poor Spider-Man in pretty much every universe or every carnation of Spider-Man. Every time he's got somewhere in life, Marvel kick him in the teeth and he ends up falling, like, not just a little bit, pretty much rock bottom pretty much every time. And I feel really sorry for Spider-Man. He's got the most tragic storyline of most characters, I believe. Anyway, this is a really good read. I enjoyed House of M. The way it progresses from the start to the finish, how it ends is great. But and that's still got effect to this day. The House of M is still quite a prolific. Is that the right word? It's still relevant. What happens at the end of the House of M is still relevant. If you read Empye Xmen tie-in, you'll understand what I mean by it still being relevant. With the whole Wanda Maximoff thing, you definitely go out, read this, and then read the Empye Xmen issue 1. Brilliant. The effects are still happening and still affecting everything today. So thank you ever so much for watching, guys, and listening to me wibble on for 23 minutes about comics and stuff. But just to run down our top 5, I'm putting Bliss at 5. I thought it was great. And I will read some more, but it's not my top comic of the week. But it was a good, refreshing book to read. I'm saying Empyre 2 at 4. It was good, but it wasn't as good as the first issue. I really hope it ramps up. It didn't quite ramp up like I wanted it to, but in my opinion, it's probably a slow burner. But let's hope. I'm not trying to get rid of it too early. At number 3, I'm going to put Spider-Man: Sin Rising. I really liked it. I loved the way that it read, that you were watching a TV interview. I thought it was brilliant. Really, really nice touch. Not seen it before. Thought it was fresh. Thought it was great. Really enjoyed it. Number 2, I'm going to put the Ranger Slayer in. I thought it was great, but I'm biased, so I apologise for being biased on this one. But it is great. I loved it. I really hope it is like a moving on to the next story arc within Power Rangers really well. Hi, Mom. Just noticed my mom's in the building, as it were. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Would recommend to go out and read it if you're a Power Ranger fan. Number one is definitely got to be Batman 95. It ends so well. It starts so well. You get the snowball effect with what's going on with the Joker. I would definitely recommend reading the tie-ins as well. The Batgirl tie-in with this week was also fantastic. Really, really good. So yeah, read the tie-ins for Joker War. It's excellent. So again, guys, thank you ever so much for dropping along and yeah, listen to me wibble on for 25 minutes. You've been stars. So yeah, cheers for that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Remember to come back next Tuesday where I will be here with Rich and we'll be doing our top 5 keys again and probably a spotlight. We're not sure what spotlight we're going to do next week. So if there isn't one, we might just do an extra few keys. We'll also be back next Thursday with more reviews, more of my re-education into the Marvel Epic Universe. I'm doing Civil War next week. Yeah, so yeah, feel free to come back. Comment below if you're enjoying the videos. If you didn't enjoy any of the books that I recommended, then please leave us a comment and tell us why. Yeah, and if you've got any suggestions for our spotlights on a Tuesday, again, please leave us a comment below. It would be excellent to get your thoughts and your opinions on what we should be reading. So yeah, again, guys, thank you ever so much for coming. If you are new to the channel, please hit subscribe and yeah, give us a thumbs up. So yeah, until next week, I'm going to say stay safe, look after yourselves, read loads and loads of comics because you deserve to read comics. It's what we do. And see ya.